As you can probably tell from my voice, it's pretty weak. I'm just getting over a cold, so please bear with me through this one. Thanks. On a warm September evening, 4 friends met together to share dinner. They chatted and had some laughs. A pretty little blonde girl named Jesokah Adkens got up and bade her goodbyes. She made her way to the door. She told her friends that she was headed to the bus stop beside Cecino's elementary school. She had to head home to feed her German Shepherd and get to bed because she had to get up early to cash her check and pay some bills. She smiled to herself as she made her way to the bus stop, thinking about Daphne, her puppy, and how much joy she brought to her life. She quickened her steps in a hurry to get home. Jesokah's friends remember seeing her waiting at the bus stop that evening, 23 years ago in Sooke BC. The bus driver doesn't recall seeing her at all. Jesokah Adkens vanished that September 26th night. She was never seen again. It would have been dark and quiet that Wednesday night, and long waits between buses. Everyone said Jesokah looked younger than her 17 years, and she wasn't afraid to hitchhike. She was alone that night. When Jesokah didn't return to her apartment that she shared with a roommate that night, no one was really overly concerned at first. It was actually Saturday before her parents knew she was missing. She had recently moved out on her own but remained close to them. Clayton and Jocelyn Adkens thought it unusual when they didn't hear from her on Thursday. On Friday, Jocelyn went to the house to check on her, but she wasn't there. On Saturday, they finally got a chance to talk to the roommate, who said that she hadn't seen Jesokah since Wednesday. She had left Daphne her backpack, identification, and her bank account went untouched. Whenever Jesokah went away in the past, she would phone her parents and brought her puppy to their home. Jocelyn called the police immediately, and they were quick to determine possible foul play. Police began interviewing dozens of people, including the bus driver, working that night. Searchers began in the wilderness from Sooke to Port Renfrew and turned up nothing. The RCMP called in reinforcements, a tracking dog, helicopter, and dive team to assist. A conservation officer was called in case Jesokah had been killed by a cougar. Police never found any signs of the petite blonde girl, who was last seen wearing a black pullover, jeans, black runners, and a Doors t-shirt. The Vancouver Island Integrated Major Crimes Unit took over the case. Jesokah was a normal 17-year-old girl. She had lots of friends, a steady boyfriend, and attended high school. She moved in with her friend in August of 2001. Tommy Johnston, a close friend of Jesokah, believes that there is a network of people in Sooke that know exactly what happened to her, and it makes her very angry that no one has come forward. According to Tim Collins, a reporter with the Victoria News, in an article about Jesokah in May 2019, that there was a prominent Sooke resident that echoes Tommy Johnston's statements, but is asked to remain anonymous. People have a pretty good idea of what happened and who knows all about it, but I'm afraid to give you any names or information. I can't prove any of it, and honestly, I'd be afraid that they would come after me. Let's just say there are some prominent people involved. When Jesokah was younger, she had a bit of a wild streak. When she was 14 or 15 years old, she experimented with drugs and hung with some people that were of questionable character. They all liked to party and drink. She had since left all that behind and returned to high school. She had dreams of entering college and becoming a nurse. Most people that personally knew her remember her as a sweet, shy, friendly, and loving young girl. A former guidance counselor has fond memories of Jesokah giving a little knock on her door, and she'd say, "Mrs. Harris, have you got a minute?" And they would have some good chats. She went on to say that she was one student that she would never forget, even if she would have lived to graduate and live her dreams. She remembers after Jesokah vanished, the school kids all participated in the search. The police ground search ended after 5 days, but some of her schoolmates, along with her parents, continued searching for 2 years. Over the years, the investigators say they pursued hundreds of leads, continuing to interview people and check other cases for possible links. But with time, the trail has grown cold. Jesokah's murder remains unsolved, a constant grief for her parents. "We're so bruised and beaten, we don't even want to talk about it anymore," Clayton said as the anniversary approached. "This was just a young girl that was taken from us. Every night I deal with it. All I want to do is find my little girl. It's hard no matter what month or day or year," said Jocelyn. "It just brings up all the old memories, and I just like to keep the good ones in there and keep it quiet. I don't care to discuss it at all anymore. I just know it's not going anywhere. It's been 20 years. I think the opportunity has come and gone. There was an opportunity, and I think it was missed." The bus stop where Jesokah was last seen is gone now, moved to a different location, but there is still a makeshift memorial to her. A little older and weathered, we see the memorial and we remember this beautiful young woman, Sooke Major Tate said. We are carrying grief as well, and we have sincere empathy for the lack of closure this has had on her family and friends. This must be very difficult on the family still looking for answers. Tommy Johnston's assessment of Jesokah's disappearance does go on into a much darker scenario, and I wasn't comfortable with it at first, but I have decided to include it because it could have some bearing on her case. Clara Johnston, Tommy's daughter and friend of Jesokah's, went on to say that when Jesokah left home between 14 and 15 years old, she did so because she liked to party. Claire partied with her as well. She said Jesokah would hang out with some of the worst people in Sooke at that time, all the bums. She'd sit under the trees and talk with them for hours. There was a whole crew of them. They called themselves the Skids, and they drank, did drugs, and were taken advantage of by older men who supplied them with drugs and alcohol. One of these individuals, who went by the name No Nose, was a known drug dealer. Jesokah told Tommy that although she was no longer taking drugs, she still owed No Nose $80 for cocaine, and that she was going to pay him off. He was a terrible person, Tommy said. No Nose died years ago in Alberta. When confronted about this and other uncorroborated information, RCMP Corporal Chris Manso responded in a written statement. When investigating a missing persons case, victimology plays a large part in the investigation. We've worked to know Jesokah's movements and history. As this remains an active, ongoing investigation, we must remain mindful that any new releases and information and open to court scrutiny should this matter come to that resolution. Another curious aspect that Tim Collins, reporter for Victoria News, wrote. Tommy mentioned that during the search, a woman named Paulie involved herself with the search party. Apparently, Paulie and her boyfriend and another man had been the three that had dinner with Jesokah on the night she had vanished. When Paulie was asked about their relationship with Jesokah, Paulie left the search group and never came back again. Claire found this to be really weird. Becky Anderson grew up in Sooke and was a few years younger than Jesokah, and she was always aware of her disappearance. She said that all the speculation about what happened to her throughout the years was sad. Everyone was trying to guess and point fingers at everyone. It affected the community, she said. Dorothy Vowles, a citizen of Sooke, remembers Jesokah's parents and that they went through hell. It went on and on and on. Some people thought she got a ride and left town, but she would have never have done that to them. Anytime I see them, I'm like, oh my gosh, that pain. You look at them and just wish you could relieve the stress and their pain. Jesokah disappeared while waiting for the bus at Sooke and Idlemore roads. She was a 17-year-old girl and had just finished dinner with friends at 9 p.m. She walked to the bus stop and vanished. She would now be 39 years old. She is described as being 5 feet 5 inches tall, 110 pounds, with long, straight, blonde hair. A $30,000 reward fund has been posted for information leading to the discovery of Jesokah. Jocelyn said the family has heard absolutely nothing from investigators on any new developments. If you have any information you would like to report about Jesokah's disappearance or her whereabouts, please contact the Vancouver Island Integrated Major Crimes Unit at 250-380-6211. If you would rather remain anonymous, please call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477 or report online at BC Crime Stoppers.